Our economy is doing great currently. Our debt situation is not the best, but, green line go up. That's all that matters at the moment. China will persevere and become the global economic superpower. We just have to make sure it doesn't collapse along the way. In the meantime, expand state-owned industries. It almost pays for itself. I think after this, we will switch over towards mayhaps starting up military affairs so we can get that monthly modernization rate improved. So if I remember correctly, at some point in the future, Long Yun will rise again, like the gamer he is, and we need to stop him. Oh, yeah, there's the National Protection Army. We kind of got some poopy leaders, apparently. But that'll be okay, I'm sure. Let's prepare by, putting our army on the border. Just in case. There it is, the Mad King of the Southwest. In Yunnan, a terrible king has arisen. In a previous time, almost feels like forever ago, Long Yun was the undisputed lord and commander of the Yunnan province. His prestige among the people beyond compare, and his allegiance to the Old Republic firm. But as the Old Republic and the Old Order disintegrated around him under the heel of the invader, so too did his mulishness. At the end of the war, he submitted, but not before bequeathing his authority upon Lu Han, his cousin, for he himself was too influential a man to be deposed outright, merely stepping down and playing second fiddle within the reformed government. Lu Han, unlike his predecessor, immediately saw the merits to our enterprise. More and more, he began instituting reforms that, despite supposedly promoting economic exploitation and exacerbating tensions between the Han and the Yi within the province, injected our 5 modernizations with renewed vigor by funneling a steady stream of finances, material, and above all, unwavering loyalty to our steelworkers. But it was not meant to be. For reasons yet unknown to us, Long Yun, the cynic rabbit dog, has returned in force in a shocking coup. We will have to put him down permanently. Friend turned foe. You hate to see it. Damn it, and just as I was trying to start the modernization of our army, it gets cancelled. Now we'll have to deal with the Mad King. Located so far away from the historic centers of the Chinese population along the coast, the land of abundance that Sichuan is dangling between control and anarchy. Even the invaders could not stifle the guerrillas in the area, only causing further strife, leaving a power vacuum present until this very day. China's history teaches us that Sichuan is too valuable an asset to leave at the wayside, and this lesson shall not go unlearned by Gao Zhongwu. And so the calm before the storm, and the chance to prove ourselves the legal ruler of China. Start by sending weapons. We'll establish a curfew. Well, they have 0 influence, actually. Send weapons. How many weapons can I send? Oh, we'll have like 450. No, 400. Send them in. So far, we're doing well, right? Let's put some more. Prepare for the worst. Ask for military freedom so that we can actually deal with the enemy. We do have some trucks. I wouldn't mind motorizing my supplies at least. An elite unit will be activated for service. Hell yeah. Keep forgetting to do the focuses, god damn it. Probably wasted a lot of my stuff. Sichuan sides with Gao Zhongwu. We've succeeded. Secured the Chengdu from the hands of the Hanjian government. Army units with orders to take positions along the border already begin to move in. I mean, I've invested a lot of shit in there. Secured Sichuan from the enemies, and depending on our support level, we'll receive military and industrial bonuses from the province, while also boosting our legitimacy. Lockdown movement to protect our people, sure. When Gao Zhongwu received a missive from Long Yun and read it, he could not but treat it as a direct insult. He had devoted everything to China, only to receive such utter bullshit from an old, senile dotard, whose words were predicated on delusions on a good day. Mr. President, I implore you to see reason. Stop the exploitation. Be just and fair to the people. Worst of all, Alignant, I implore you to redeem yourself by setting yourself against the Japanese oppression for our freedom and yours. Was this how the old ghost of Yunnan dared to treat the last beacon of hope in China? These people in Kunming were delusional, that was that. They were mentally capable of understanding that his plan was the only route to a strong, prosperous, free China, but his modernization progress made reality clear. So long as China was protected, no cost ever mattered. There's only one choice, one response for Gao to make to Long Yun. Long Yun, this is your final chance to surrender. What do you mean no? I mean no, that's it. That is the message in its entirety. President Gao Zhongwu raised his muddy scrap of paper yet higher for all to see. A cacophony of murmurs and sideway glances erupted among the sea of heads before him, a singular no greeting the hundreds of squinted eyes and inquisitive gazes. Is there any mentions of our terms? None whatsoever. How do you suggest we handle this then? Perhaps a negotiation proposal with softened terms. Surely a gesture of goodwill will let the old general see reason. Need I remind you, gentlemen, that the goodwill has already failed us. With a slam of the podium, Gao strode to the center of the hall, booming voice reverberating between the walls and squashing the bubbles into silence. That ultimatum, that with which institution had already poured enough senseless hours into, was in itself more goodwill and amnesty than what that delusional fool ever deserved. Yet still, he repays us with this, a singular no. Hadn't he made himself clear enough, gentlemen? How much more dithering, how much more misguided benevolence must we pay to this lost cause before we decide that enough is enough? Therefore, it is to my hope that our honorable legislators will set on drafting a formal declaration of war at once. Yeah, we got no choice but to crush. Just a shame we can't really keep improving our nation. Can I see perchance how much my guy has? I cannot. I do believe I have yeah. Send him in. We'll build a spy network. Maybe that'll give us better information. One last ultimatum. The mad dog bellows and tugs on his leash. We shall grant him one chance to submit, like the lowly mongrel he is. The Republic of China unlocks a new crisis tree with this. Okay. And now we can set a state of emergency, increasing the army size ceiling to 105. Yeah, let's start with evacuation. Keep our people safe. Keep them hidden. Keep them safe. Hello? Can I not make a... I apparently cannot make a front line here. Arrival of military equipment from Japan. Nice. Let's slow down a little bit. We should be able to break down the enemy somewhat quickly in key tiles. I don't know why I cannot draw a front line there. Should be able to. Final conflict. Battle has begun in earnest. What began as only a series of short skirmishes across the Yunanese-Chinese border has exploded into a nationwide conflict with no end in sight. Both leaders are keenly aware of the issues of dragging this conflict out would cause a Japanese intervention would automatically spell doom for Long Yun's dream and could lead to significant issues for Gao Zhongwu as well. Alright, let's see. Oh, goddamn, everything just collapsed, huh? There we go. Don't let them go anywhere. We got our first encirclement. Perfect. That didn't take us too long, actually. Okay, now we can make the front line, actually. Good. I've given up on the encirclements. The last one sadly fell apart, but I'm moving in. And the Japanese equipments keep arriving. Very happy with that. Regardless, it seems like the National Protection Army, they're not going to be able to hold out against us for that long. Got some fighters, we got some CAS. Use the Air Force, please. It's not much, but since they don't have much of an Air Force, we should be fine moving in with them. Oh yeah, they're falling apart. How are the casualties looking, actually? Slightly in their favor, we don't care too much, though. We got more manpower to spare after all. Oh, and the second annual literacy consensus reveals that, thanks to an aggressive education program targeting the poor and working class, literacy has somewhat significantly increased throughout all of China, from about 10% to an exceeding 50%. All right. Can't wait for the next progress reports then. Once upon a time, the princes and peasants alike of China's inner provinces, heart and soul of the nation, found themselves boiling away in the humid summer heat, unable to do naught but pray for rain. Oh yeah, we got air conditioners now. Hell yeah. That's how you know the nation's going places. Oh yeah, it's 100% in our favor, but they don't seem to be losing any... Well, they don't seem to be suffering any problems. Oh, for the first time after mornings of gory charges, afternoons of lead rain and nights of artillery guesswork, the guns have finally fallen silent. The silence is everywhere. In the Yuan, legislators hold their collective breaths and frantically read reports. In the streets, the people shush each other and turn their ears towards the radios. On the front, soldiers hold their guns almost as gently as they sob. The realization, a possibility almost too alien to comprehend. The war is over. We've won. China has won. The bureaucrats set to work. They would wail and weep in their own time. For now, they labored, transforming victory into something more legally tangible. Something like the Shinan province. Japan couldn't say no. The Chinese had won the Rising Sun's respect and perhaps fear. And so China is victorious, and Shinan will be placed under Chinese administration. With that, the dragons rises. The national state of emergency is over. The army size ceiling will return to its normal level. We should disarm any extra troops during the Southwestern insurrection. Or we might gain the ire. Our expanded military freedom will be restricted again while we regain control over our provincial governors. Okay, do we actually have 91? No, we had 80 still, so it was still fine. Now, please press these buttons again. I know we're suffering massive attritional issues. Get our units back out of there. Okay, now let's do some military affairs, eh? We're lacking so much political power. The military situation of the Nanjing nationalist government is very worrying. Military discipline is a little more than an ornament. Although disciplinary supervisors have been established, they always turn a blind eye to violations of discipline. Seeing and saying nothing. Corruption in the army and the military is common. Officers using their positions to make a tidy profit, aligning their own pockets with wealth and disregarding their work. Except for some elite troops, many units have serious lack of regular training. The military's will to fight is very weak too, with almost all soldiers being afraid of war and having no intention to fight or die for their country. Japan also restricts the development of military technology. They are only willing to sell us equipment that is for them already depreciated and backward. If we try to develop independently, they will throw up obstacles at every turn, or even have our scientists disappear into thin air. Okay, so we have, our small army will get yeeted out, but we still cannot train any extra units. Military modernization is completely decrepit. Sheesh. Well, let's get to it. This is our academic base is finally starting to improve, huh? Oh yeah, our credit got rated down. That's not good. We're acceptable these days. Now we're falling. Let's do some tax cuts. Would that work? Not really. Or not tax cuts. Expenditure cuts. I think I need to go back towards, well, I'll do a couple more maybe. Anything that'll help us increase our monthly modernization of military. Yeah, there we go. Our GDP growth will increase in here. Yeah, we definitely need to go for both our technology and our industrialization. Historically, the Hanyang arsenal has always been the center of the Chinese armaments. As the war closed and the Japanese asserted their control over Zhongguo, the greater forges and bangs of the arsenal dimmed, and so China traded rice for guns and wheat for uniforms. The troops languished with inaction, and as China's arms industry seemed to take its final breath, Hanyang began to churn. We are making the first truly Chinese rifle. We're at 100% poverty. It's still increasing somehow. We definitely need to fix that. Expand these factories, it'll give us GDP growth of 0.5%. Not bad. Dear brother, as you know, I am currently proudly serving my country in securing her borders from foreign barbarians. It's quite easy when you possess the stronger weapons, though I used to fire a Japanese rifle. It worked, and for that I was grateful. But recently, we've been resupplied with so-called Chinese rifles that I could not even call moderately successful. They jam, they backfire, they whine, and they snap. I wish to see our nation grow strong again, but how can we do that with shit like this? What do they wish for me to do beyond hitting my enemies with this rifle like a club? Well, look, it's a work in progress, alright? You can't expect us to be an economic powerhouse and a military powerhouse this quickly. What we have is not enough. The rifles that come off our lines are good, but they are simply not enough. The planes can maneuver very well, but they're not enough. We need more of everything. The effect of manning the factories' national split will be increased. What's it currently at? 5% output of factories. Yeah, it could definitely stand to be increased. Keep exploding our population. Look at that. We're only increasing by 0.03% poverty rate, even though literally everyone in this nation is poor. Surely at some point we'll be able to fix that, huh? Diary entry 432. They offered me an incredible opportunity to work in exchange for reduced time. I was innocent, you know. All I did was steal some cabbage. But I can't fight the government. I'll take any chance I get to leave this hellhole. Apparently I'm due to work in this arse and all in Wuhan, wherever that is. Hell yeah. You go, girl. Be exploited. 8 billion more in debt. God damn. This is gonna be rough for us. Once again, strikes have assembled, and once again the military has dispersed them. Workers claim that the legal maximum amount of sick days is cruel and inconsiderate, but these are dissidents. Alright, whatever you say, buddy. As long as you are there to be exploited by us, you will work for the greater good of China. We're so close to getting a new level of education. I'm gonna go straight into political power gain, so I can gain more political power to get more decisions in. Faster industrialization. Let's go. We're close to finishing off one of our branches of modernization. If we ever wish to compete with the Japanese, we need to speed up our industrialization. I mean, we're doing that pretty much. In fact, we're close to the end of it. Our poverty will be also reduced further, with the GDP growth increasing by 0.15%. What is this? Establish the Wuhan. Our GDP growth will increase by 0.5%. Yeah. We'll let this pass us by. Up and down China, the mechanical hums and clanks of industry sound out. In such a short amount of time, we've expanded our resource exploitation, bolstered our energy production, all to fuel our militarization campaign. Only China can control her future. Indeed. All across China, we have fostered groupings of powerful industrial communities. Whether they provide resources, arms, electricity, or consumer products, they are all working with incredible efficiency for the betterment of China. The Yangtze will feed us all. The problem with the Japanese breadbasket will be significantly reduced, and we can increase our technological self-sufficiency to level 2. Not that it really does much, but still. An expedition to locate natural resources in the upper Shashimiao formation has today uncovered a most wonderful surprise. Near the bank of the Tuo River, members of a team were searching for signs of possible oil deposits, only to be shocked by the discovery of near complete set of dinosaur fossils. Hell yeah. They belong in a museum. The third annual literacy consensus reports that not only has the literacy rate continued to steadily rise, but there has also been a sharp increase in numbers of domestic literary publications. Once average citizens, now imbued with the power of written words, have taken it upon themselves to author books about nearly anything and everything. Although these new classics are understandably not as of yet comparable to the Japanese or Western literature, they have become incredibly popular within China, and some have even attained foreign recognition and international renown. A notable example is Orange Rain, an adventure novel written by a rural gardener concerning a man and his monkey's journey to the edge of the world. Okay. I feel like it's a reference to something, but I'm not quite sure. I was guessing maybe like Dragon Balls or Wukong. Maybe that was our Korean man. But I'm more leaning towards a Dragon Balls reference. It'd be funny if Chinese man wrote it. A decade ago, China was called the breadbasket of the sphere to the Japanese. Our agrarian economy was of particular use, and they remained consistent customers to our millet and rice exports. Even then, our production was sure that the Japanese men in Hawaii ate their bento over Chinese brown rice, much the same as the Japanese youth growing up on Chinese rice in their porridge. The Japanese would eat our beef, drink our tea, crack our eggs, and slice our bread. We have long controlled the sack. It is what made us useful to the Japanese, but now we are forging our sword. Pickaxes, now made in China, crack against iron. Furnaces smelt the iron. Technicians turn it to steel. China is stronger than ever. Japan better watch out. Otherwise, I might have to smack him down. Now with that, everything will be made in China, significantly boosting our GDP with 8 billion. Damn, our poverty rate is still atrocious though. That's not great. I was hoping it would go down, but still rising. A boy rides his bike down the beaten muddy trails of Luzon. It is not a new bike, but it works. He received it for his birthday. He's happy. Underneath the seat, made in China is pressed into the steel. The village nurses a beer as he looks out into the jungle of Borneo. In his lap, he cradles a hunting rifle. He likes it because it is reliable and hardly misses. Carved into the stock is made in China. In the Tokyo Mitsukoshi, an impatient husband waits for his wife to decide on a new rice cooker. She's torn between two, one red and one blue. She does not want to buy something that will break after a few months' usage. It does not matter which one she chooses, I guess, as both are stamped with Made in China. A conductor on the Thai-Burma Link Railway smokes a cigarette as he watches the engine dials. The boiler could use a bit more heat, so he signals the engineer to shovel some more coal in. The shovel, the coal, and the engine, all made in China. With that, one of the branches is complete. 2 are almost done. And with the Shinan Reconstruction Authority ready for us to annex them at some point in the future, I'd say that this is pretty much it for today. I do hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you did. Hopefully, I'll see you next time, and hopefully, you have a nice day. Bye bye.